Hey guys, welcome back to another Skyrim mods video, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. This video is longer than usual because I have found a lot more motivation and a lot more time now to start making longer videos again, so I will be pumping these out much faster and also going over more underrated mods. As usual, all mods will be down in the description. If you find a mod that you like, make sure to download it and endorse that mod author. So without further ado, let's dive right in. The first mod up, overhauling the boring subtitles that are already inside of Skyrim that Bethesda really didn't give about. I had to cut out a certain word right there, but this mod is called floating subtitles. With this mod, subtitles will no longer just be at the bottom of your screen, and it will also work no matter how many NPCs are currently on your screen. It will now appear above their head, and it doesn't go away immediately, so you will be able to tell exactly what the NPC said just in case you happen to miss it. I am using upscaler here, so it looks like the titles are moving a little bit, but they generally are stationary if you have 60 FPS and don't use upscaler. If you do happen to be using the mod subtitle, which is just a different mod that lets you see every single subtitle on the screen at once, that one will overlap with this one, but it won't break anything. You just won't get the full effect of this mod. I would say that this mod is more so if you want a modern HUD, like if you use Edge UI. I happen to be using Nordic UI and it fits perfectly. But if you want a vanilla friendly look, just go with the original subtitle mod. These also work while you're in combat or just general combat if you happen to interact with the NPC. And because of that, and based on a mod description, not my own words, but this has no limitation, only the limitation on the number of NPCs. Up next, a mod overhauling everyone's favorite dark elf, or at least most of the people. I never recruited him, but this mod is called Dreamcleaver Erandur Overhaul. And when it says overhaul, it doesn't mean that it's changing up his spells and making it incompatible with a lot of other follower mods, but instead, this mod just overhauls his appearance, adding new detailed appearance to him, along with new hairstyles if you happen to have detailed one. So if you don't happen to be using something like Men of Skyrim and prefer a vanilla only look, but just a little bit better, or a lot better in this mod's case, then this mod will be perfect for you. You really have no reason not to use this. This one might have been a little bit bugged, but this next mod is called Chandeliers Animated. Now when you look at Chandeliers, if you pay very close attention because it doesn't move as much as in the first clip, that was probably just a glitch on my part, but the Chandeliers will subtly move, and especially if you interact with them, then they may move a little bit more, but that's a vanilla issue. Another part that I wanted to point out is I am using Rudy Miscellaneous Chandeliers, so as you can see, it is compatible with that mod as well. You don't need to go back to the vanilla version. This next mod overhauling a common weapon found inside of Skyrim, but this mod is called Steel Battleaxe of Fury Souls. Truly unique. And when I mean common, I mean that the Steel Battleaxe model that it uses is usually common, just the enchantment and special. But this mod overhauls every aspect of this weapon, giving it new models and textures, and also an animated effect that you can find depending on your enchanting animations. This mod also offers up to 2K to 4K textures and a very cool fire effect on top of the Steel Battleaxe. And even though it seems like I'm trying to extend the video by just putting a lot of combat clips, it all makes sense because this weapon gets stronger, or at least theoretically, the more you use it. Because as you kill NPCs with the Battleaxe, you'll start to accumulate what is known as Ember Wisps. You'll never be able to tell exactly how many you have, but once you have enough, 20 being the least and 100 being the most that you can have for the maximum damage boost. Once you try and activate the power, if you have enough, you'll start getting a fire cloak around your character, along with a bunch of other effects that help boost in combat. And as I mentioned in this video, I'm using the lowest amount of damage, so about 20 Ember Wisps, you get 10 fire damage, along with 10% physical damage bonus, fire and frost resistance, and a flame cloak for about 6 damage, but once you get up to 100, it's so much more deadly. And the more simple mod, overhauling the Creation Club backpacks, but not with new textures. Well, they do have new models, some of them do, but it is called HDT-SMP Creation Backpacks. Now when your character moves, the backpack will also move, along with some of the items that is on the backpack. And when I mention new models, I figured because I use ELLE potions and I have it patched for Creation Backpack that it might cause some issues. But these new models kind of remove potions all from it, so you don't really have to worry about that. You just get the new animated effects. Honestly, I'm not even sure if it's fair to call SMP animated effects, but they do look wonderful. I haven't seen any clipping with them, and they go right back into place without looking super rubbery. I do use EVG accessories, but this mod makes it so that Creation Backpacks are no less as good as those accessories, and blend right into vanilla Skyrim. Up next, a new armor mod by ELLE. This new female-only armor mod is called Dark Assassin, and it features craftable equipment, heavy armor for 3BA and UBE, if you happen to be using that mod, which has steadily become more popular lately. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but sometimes when I speak too fast, I say Skyrim like Skyrim, and I don't know how to fix that, but it just happens. I'm pretty sure you guys noticed, but I'm starting to notice it now as well. Okay, back to this armor. It does feature heals, so you will need a mod to fix heals so you don't clip into the ground. But along with heals, it also features multiple different color variants for your character to equip. You can't mix and match because this armor is highly modular, about 8 pieces per set. Correction, 7 pieces. None of these different color variants offer any type of armor boost over the other one. It is completely cosmetic. You can craft this armor as well. You don't have to use an item menu or do any special quests. You just find the crafting book at the Solitude Blacksmith. This mod also features new custom daggers, one for each different color variant, but you can dual wield them if you want. And what I noticed is that they are kind of reverse daggers, which is pretty cool because you don't really see many of those in Skyrim anymore. Most people just stick to steel swords or really just great swords. If maybe that heavy armor was too much for you, you can go with a much simpler approach with DD's Tara dress. This new mod is a clothing mod. It doesn't feature any armor, so I would assume that you can use it for mage characters. And it is female only, but it does have patches for 3BA already. And not only does this mod have great HDT because it is by DD, but it also features 2 new variants along with the main one. But I will say the differences between the variants aren't very huge. It's just every single variant is removing more of the said item. So you go from a fully decorational dress to maybe just a normal tavern made dress that you could find anyone wearing. But there's also the variant 2, which just is the black versions of the outfit. Well, it's more so dark blue. So you can change the dress, but you can also go and change the stocking to match the new blue textures. So you can pick whichever variant as well as color that matches your style. Me, I'm probably going to sky patches to certain female NPCs inside of Skyrim because it fits vanilla. One thing that I did notice though, if you have too much of a heavy weight, if you build with the body slide, when you jump, if the skirt happens to go too fast, like you'll see in the next video, it can sometimes have the legs clip through the stockings. But moving on to our next mod, taking Skyparkour to the next level. This mod is called JellyFishInLoop SkyParkour Animations. I could have just put Skyparkour Animations, but Skyparkour already had animations, so I didn't want to change the title, so here we are. But this adds new flowing animations that fit the vanilla Skyparkour, but is a lot quicker without making your character seem like you are Nightwing just flipping everywhere. And to prevent your character from clipping into things or maybe just breaking something because you tried to move too fast, once you hop over something, your character will stick the landing and then you'll be able to move after a few seconds. Well, not a few seconds, but a few milliseconds. And if I'm being honest, I really didn't expect much of this mod. I kind of avoided Skyparkour because it kind of makes Skyrim a lot easier when you can just climb everything. But now that I've tested this mod, it's grown attached to me and I can no longer get rid of it. The animations are too amazing. And it makes my life easier. I don't have to spend a few seconds trying to hop over a fence or increase my jump height just to hop over it because I use mods that kind of slow my character down. So this makes it a lot more immersive and easier to get around Skyrim. And the best part is that I really didn't experience any bugs with this. Generally, my character gets stuck or I just can't jump anymore, but this mod worked perfectly. But mileage may vary. Up next, a pretty simple HUD mod just like before, but this mod is called Dynamic Location Pop-Ups. This mod makes it so that when you visit a location, it'll no longer just be a one-time discovery of the location, but every time that you visit the location, it will pop up on top of the screen using whatever font you currently have installed. What I will say about this mod though, is that sometimes when you pass by too many objects, like if you're in Riften and you pass by a bunch of buildings, it'll be continuous pop-ups until the next one goes away and it'll just keep flowing and flowing until you finally run out. Still, nonetheless, a must-have mod for me. Up next, a very small, but in my opinion, a very massive as well, new quest mod that takes you to a new part of Skyrim. This mod is called Call of the Deep, placing a new quest in the parts of Skyrim that no one really goes to, and that's towards the Sea of the Ghosts. This mod is called the Call of the Deep, and to begin the quest, you can add it in the middle of your game because it's placed pretty much somewhere that you'll never really run into issues. But you'll run into a courier who gives you the letter as soon as you enter any city, telling you to go adventure to a new dungeon that people got lost in, featuring beautiful new visuals that I haven't seen in a while since about Everglade. That probably had the best visuals that I've ever seen inside of a quest mod, and this mod doesn't disappoint when compared to that. And it is recommended because these are dwarven enemies and there are a lot of them in here, and I recommend not to push random buttons because pushing buttons is going to get you killed. But I definitely recommend coming about level 15, mainly for the enemy that you run into at the end. And even if you come with just iron equipment after reaching level 15, for some reason you still have that instead of steel, by the time that you get further into this dungeon, you'll have a full set of dwarven gear. Mainly just weapons, no armor. But it will help figuring out the puzzles and traversing this place with the enemies surrounding you. a lot easier. And I just want to point out, I did not finish this quest, but I did spend about 3 hours in here just exploring, and I got lost a lot because I am not great at puzzles. So for those people that love puzzles and love to explore and fight enemies along with it, and just a small download size of less than a gigabyte, this quest mod is going to be perfect for you. Along with the enemies, it adds tons of new items that I've never seen placed inside of Skyrim, and it's one of those type of quest mods that you can add and remove at any time as long as you just reload the save before you went in, or even after it. You might bug a little bit, but because this is a completely new place, it shouldn't mess up much. And even if you don't decide to uninstall this after you fight so many enemies that have their own new custom cores that you can sell for a lot of money, or even new alchemy ingredients that you can use to craft items, you will at least leave here with a lot of money if you don't give up midway, because like I said, there is a lot of puzzles in this, and then I did not finish everything. But in the time that I did spend in this dungeon, I was simply amazed by how long it took me to actually reach most of the stuff, and then realized there was still so much more to do, along with the fact that I didn't crash a bunch of times and I wasn't overwhelmed with a bunch of ugly different creatures. But there is enough diversity that leaves you having to prepare for the next fight. And yes, that was basically a dwarven giant, just in case you happen to be wondering that. So if you're looking for a new small adventure that can take hours to complete, I definitely recommend downloading this mod. And that was pretty much it for today, guys. Like I said, a little bit longer than usual, but I hope you all enjoyed. As usual, all mods down in the description. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace and love, guys.